Happy Friday, and welcome back to another beautiful end of a week to the rock. I'm going to do this again. Sorry.
It's going to be that kind of day, isn't it?
It's a brain dead kind of day.
You
Okay,
jinx
here
yourself.
we go. Okay, here we go.
If you say airport minute, I'm hanging up.
Okay, here we go. Happy Friday, and thanks for making it through an entire week with us here at the Rocketeer Minute, where each and every day, Monday through Friday, we go over 1 minute of the greatest adventure movie Walt Disney's ever made, the 1991 Joe Johnston-directed feature, The Rocketeer. I'm one of your hosts, Jim O'Kane of TVDads.com.
And I'm Hal Bryan, an airplane nerd from the Experimental Aircraft Association here in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And wait, Jim, listen. Ooh, do you smell something?
You're listening to a special Billy Campbell episode on the Rocketeer Minute. Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Campbell.
I just can't get over it.
It's the song that never ends.
I can't get. Thank goodness I don't actually have to listen to it every time.
The beauty of post-production.
That's right.
Billy, you know you're hearing it in your heart right now.
I am, and my heart is. I know what they mean by. What is it that they say? Oh, I told you guys I was going to be brain dead.
Yes. Well, Billy Campbell, the Rocketeer himself, here with us once again. And he's suffering a little bit from jet lag because he's finished up the second season of Cardinal. For all you nice folks who, if you're not watching it, you should really catch up. You've got a whole season to get back to. But season 2 will be coming out shortly. But he's finished it up and is back home with his family, and he's taken out some time on his day off to talk some more Rocketeer.
Yeah, and I'm 8 hours out of whack.
It's we're everywhere. It's been a long day.
But Billy, you're speaking to us from the future.
Yes, that's
what's
true.
It like
actually.
there?
That's right.
Do we all have jetpacks now? Tell me we do.
Hopefully, are they all sailing? Yeah. Does it look like the cover of Howard Hughes' little program guide?
Exactly.
Wow. Well, hopefully they're not. Hopefully everybody has a secret closet too, which is where we're finding our crew here. Jenny's working the controls of radio, and who knew the talent that she had.
That's right.
Turn some knobs and press the transmit button, and off you go.
You know, it's funny. There was apparently a scene that it was either shot or at least prepared for, and Billy, I don't know if you would know, but where they had the prop people had actually gotten hold of an original German Enigma encoding machine.
Wow.
And there was a scene where Neville was typing the machine in code. And if you don't know what this is, this was the allegedly unbreakable German analog computer used for sending coded messages before and during World War II. And anyway, there was an original one on set, and Neville was sort of typing a message into this and sending it off, but apparently that was cut for runtime purposes. So I don't know if it was shot and cut or if they were prepared to shoot it and then just didn't shoot it because of the length.
I knew nothing about that. So I am unable to inform you.
It was clearly on a need-to-know basis.
Yeah,
it's the Enigma living up to its name, right?
That's right.
I have to admire the way that we still managed to see that bracelet of Jenny's in every single shot. Ever since she's shown up, ever since she's woken up at Neville's house, that bracelet has been in every single minute.
And yet on screen, if I remember right, we never really get a great look at the airplane, so we had to rely on some off-screen photos that we were able to get a quick peek at to see what the airplanes were. But here we see the heart, and I'm not sure what that next one down.
We know there is a heart. There is oranges. There's a pair of oranges. There is a comedy and tragedy for the dramatic arts. And
although I've only ever seen the comedy. I don't recall there actually being a tragedy, which I thought was sort of charming, but I could be wrong.
And of course there is a GB-ish monoplane of some kind.
A stylized airplane. That Cliff Secord was a thoughtful fellow.
Yeah, he really was.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was, and he was infatuated.
She happens to grab, I'm assuming that's a code book. She pulls out it looks like a Nazi day planner.
Jeez, das ist eine Moleskine, ja.
And this is one of the clearest, in the background, we get one of the clearest dates and times in the setting. Obviously, they did do it right. It is Saturday, October 15th. Either that or it's a week later, and Neville hasn't been in there for a while. But it's October 15th, Saturday, 1938. So the timeline is going just fine. This seems to be exactly on target. And I keep looking at that Nazi day planner, and it looks like something was scraped off the bottom of it, like there was somebody's name or something. It just looks like there was something engraved below it.
Where are you talking about the thing scraped
if you look
off?
At the very bottom of it, it looks like just below her thumbs on second 15. It just kind of looks.
Oh yeah, something slightly.
Like it might have been somebody's name. You know, it could have been like a Reichsfuhrer, or some kind of under, captain. Some of the
Obergruppenführer, Sinclair, something like that.
Exactly. Yes, whatever the words for a secret agent is in German. So, and there is some actual German from what I'm understanding. It is correct German from what's on there. We hear on the radio somebody saying "Sind Sie das?" and "Warum rufen Sie an?" which I'm mangling horribly. Which is, who is that and where are they calling?
Have you ever seen the wonderful commercial?
Yes. The Berlitz, you mean the Berlitz one?
Yes, yes. What are you thinking about? That's one of my favorite. I was actually working on a tall ship, in a Norwegian tall ship years ago, and one of my crewmates came just flaming into the mess room with a laptop, just laughing his head off, and everybody laughed about it for weeks.
This is so good.
It's amazing, but there's nothing like good laughs with a German accent.
Oh yeah. Yes. What do we think of the map on the back of the door? Is that a hunk of California?
Yeah, it looks like it's a piece of L.A. It looks like a topographical map of L.A. And I'm just wondering if that line that's being drawn there is the path of the Luxembourg.
Path of the Luxembourg.
Yeah,
the dirigible that was coming in, and although. Really, why would they be meeting up with the Luxembourg at Griffith Park?
Exactly. Only the most conspicuous.
Right. Well, hiding in plain sight, maybe. That's that's the plot of Black Sunday. So that's wow. And what was? Here's a big what if. What if they had gotten, like, let's say Lenny and Wilmer had gotten the X3. What was the plan? Was Neville going to hang on to it at his house, and then the Luxembourg was going to pass over his house, and they'd drop down a platoon of army guys to take it away? It was just kind of, I don't know what the plan A was, that this is now plan B or C, because they were, they said Griffith Park 4 a.m. and
I mean, you could certainly imagine, this airship making a goodwill tour of the U.S. and things like this. You could certainly imagine somebody relatively famous like Neville Sinclair, the number 3 box office star and number 3 joik, getting sort of a VIP tour of the area or something like that, and happening to bring a large bag aboard and then leaving it aboard, I suppose.
Yeah, the wider one would have been, what if he had a goodwill tour, and the following Saturday the Luxembourg wound up at Bigelow's air show.
Oh yeah,
and just if he's well, I guess that's not a big enough goodwill tour.
What a cool scene that might have been, though, with the planes buzzing around and. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. So, we talked to Danny Bilson earlier this week, the screenwriter, one of the 2 screenwriters, and we're looking forward to having him back. And in the course of one of our conversations, he talked quite a bit about the original ending, which did involve, as I understand, sort of the Zeppelin, sort of an armada of airplanes flown by all of Cliff's buddies, and FBI agents and gangsters in cars, and sort of a whole big battle scene showdown back at Santa Maria, and how remarkable that would have been to see.
Yeah.
But then somebody at Disney said, "Wait, you know how much that's going to cost?"
Exactly.
Let's have one guy in the blimp, and he's fighting a couple other guys.
And you look at the scenes at Griffith Park, and what a perfect setting! What is just a perfect Art Deco capstone for this whole thing. It's hard to imagine it playing out any other way. And of course you get that iconic, absolutely perfect iconic shot. I know I'm getting minutes ahead of myself here, but Billy, you up on looking up at you with the flag and the Mauser and looking up with the helmet and
I remember consciously striking the pose that Dave had drawn in the book, and that was actually one of the that was after I slid off of the thing in out in.
Out at the big site with the top of the
thing,
yeah.
and then our wonderful stunt director started letting me do a lot of my own stunts, and that was one that I got to do because that was originally meant to be, because he sort of runs around and then hops up onto some kind of pedestal or something, and yeah, it was fun.
Well, I'm watching that one scene where she's letting Neville finish the sentence for us, like, oh my God,
yes.
Neville Sinclair and the camera just does that very simple move where she spins around and then suddenly revealing, looming Lothar and, and Neville with the ice pack on his head and just, and then the camera just pushes past him and it pushes past her.
And am I the only one who just savors the way he says saboteur?
Yes.
he just sort of bites it off and puts it out there.
It really does.
Yeah, it's so elegant, so pitch perfect. It's funny too. He adds fascist at the end, because that was starting to become a sort of a bad word in the UK, but it wasn't as horrible really as we feel like it should be in retrospect. The British Union of Fascists had been around for about 6 years at this point. They started as the British Union of Fascists, then became the British Union of Fascists and National Socialists, and then in 1937 they just became British Union. But that was a political party. At one point had about 50,000 members in the UK, and it was, I hate to say it was respectable, but it was reasonably almost mainstream.
Yeah.
And certainly, by 1938, people were starting to look at them a bit sideways, and they began to sort of show their true colors and the anti-Semitism and things like that. But it was another couple of years before they were just sort of abolished outright. But none of it sounds good as saboteur.
Saboteur.
You just choose on it. It's like, I want to sprinkle that on my steak, and I don't even know what that means, but it's so savory.
And Lothar cannot do anything but walk away from a light. He just he likes getting between whoever he's going to stalk and a light bulb, because that giant pork pie hat looming danger and disaster.
Well, he's a human wall, He just stands there. And then when Dalton gets out of the way, and then he comes in, and we're looking at Jennifer Connelly there, looking like, I'm going to be struck by lightning and go to hell for saying this, but looking like an even prettier Elizabeth Taylor at this stage. The way she's looking up sort of wide-eyed, and then his shadow crosses her, and then just as soon as it goes dark, we hear her scream, and that's a mix of 30s noir with sort of 50s monster movie.
Yeah.
Sort of Creature from the Black Lagoon and
and Fay Ray. That's
where we don't see what's happening, but we hear the scream, and that's enough. And it's it's just artistically done. It's just beautiful.
And then all of a sudden we're back at the Bulldog. We're back at the back of the Bulldog.
Right. Yeah. And then there's a familiar shadow on his haunches.
That's right.
Cast by none other than one of the three people on this show right now, and it wasn't Jim and it wasn't me.
Cast by these haunches I'm sitting on right now.
Yeah. It just looks fantastic. Did it feel better in the suit? I mean, when you're running around in the suit, was it okay, or did you think this is going to look goofy, or how did that?
No, it felt fine. The only thing that felt funny to me was, because it's such a great suit to run around in. The thing that would really make me self-conscious was, what these kids today have to do, run around the skin-tight leotards, and that would, even back then, even when I was, 25 pounds lighter, it still would have embarrassed me.
You would have had to stop eating about 1988, and then
exactly. But this was, this was riding pants and boots for one, which are extremely comfortable, and a smoking hot leather jacket and a very cool helmet. The only thing that was worried about even slightly was that the rocket tended to wobble around a little bit on my back, and I always thought, is that going to look stupid? But you don't really notice it.
No, you really don't.
Did you have to wear straighteners in it to keep it steady, or was there any kind of
Well, I had this harness on it, but I imagine if you did it these days, you would be able to sort of put a more comprehensive, fasten it more sort of comprehensively.
Yeah. Or the whole thing might be CGI. You might just have a green X on your back.
Well, that's true too. Yeah, that's possible.
So, Billy, at about second 52, 2 or so, right at the beginning of Second 52.
Yeah.
You're walking along, and I know the visibility wasn't great in this in the helmet.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to me because you hit this, you come up to this wall,
Yeah.
and you sort of take a glance, and then you do, you throw your leg up, and without really breaking stride, you take a pretty big step up.
Yeah.
And did you have to practice that?
Well, I think,
recall?
yes, I did practice it a few times, first without the helmet and then a few times with the helmet. I really didn't want to auger in.
Sure. I mean, it's not quite the rocket high kick that you did climbing into the GB, which still blows my mind. As, maybe when I was in my 20s, I could have kicked that high and climbed into the airplane, but those days are behind me. But
No, there was a lot of
pretty good jump.
Well, thank you. I mean, it wasn't that high. I just wanted it to look smooth. I mean, that's generally how we handled most of the stunt stuff I did. I would just do it a few times without the helmet and then build up to a decent speed and then do it a few times with the helmet. We learned the thing that I slid off of was a good lesson because we learned to thoroughly rehearse something at top speed before putting it in front of the camera.
I do like the single motion that you managed to get your helmet off and put it in the trash can in one just solid sweep. That must have
it looks like
been a practice maneuver.
I think it was maybe already unstrapped. Am I watching that correctly?
I think yes, it was. Already already unstrapped.
Yeah, it looks like it's unstrapped as you're running. It somehow seems sacrilegious putting that helmet in the trash, though, doesn't it?
It does a little bit.
That is a work of art, sir. You will display it.
It is. I suppose if there was one thing from the movie that I really thought that I'd like to keep, it would have been one of the helmets just to sit on a bookshelf.
Well, there's a lot of other people that have those helmets sitting on bookshelves, so don't worry. It's right where you want it to be. It's just not at your house.
I've seen a few of them. I mean, they make some really beautiful knockoffs.
Yeah, it's astonishing. I mean, you could make another Rocketeer movie simply because of the outstanding props that are out there.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm correct in this, but I think that there's a slight anachronism. The GE electric meter there's a standard General Electric meter there. I think that's a little bit ahead of its time. As far as I can tell, that didn't come about until the mid 40s. It's a post-war
right on the back
invention.
wall there. I see it.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And the previous meters were sort of a rounded off square. I may be wrong. There may be somewhere in the West Coast they may have had some kind of a prototype bowl that would go over it like that. But generally the meters back then were more of they were either a rounded off square or they were an arch shape.
Yeah.
But that's a little bit anachronistic. But I'll give it to them. It's late at night. Who knows? That might have been Peavy had come up with an invention and he was testing it out.
That's exactly what happened.
Right.
That's what it was.
That one's easy.
Yeah.
Wow, but generally a good minute, and more things to come shortly. I mean, you're going to have a lot of things to do here. One of the things that we're going to have to figure out later on, and we'll deal with this in a later minute, is trying to figure out how far away is it to Howard Hughes's house, to Howard Hughes's factory?
Yeah,
because
down in go ahead.
Down in San Pedro, or down in Long Beach.
Well, I mean, was it in Long Beach? I know he had. Had a place.
Hughes Aircraft was in Santa Monica, right? Wasn't it?
That's what I think there were because I shot in what used to be the old hangars. I shot.
Sky Harbor.
Just on the backside of the wetlands there. Underneath the sort of the bluff where the I have no brain power this evening.
It's okay. But yeah, no, I mean it's got to be a hike from. I'm assuming that this is somewhere near Burbank. This is probably near Burbank Airport. It's the other side of the Hollywood Hills. We know that, and it's to the west, and it's probably somewhere between like Universal Studios and the Warner Brothers lot. Somewhere out that way is where this is roughly located. So that's a bit of a haul on foot, unless he jumped on one of the Pacific Electric streetcars. He had to get from, but we'll talk about that in a different minute. But I'm still all this stuff. He's taking off everything except you leave your jacket on. You leave your jacket on, but the rocket pack and all that goes in the trash.
And it's another one of these great scenes where we see you starting to undo the rocket,
Yes.
but we never really see the whole 25-minute process.
You can never see it. I mean, it would be ridiculous. It would be a little bit a fun gag to have shot something where I got completely undressed as fast as possible, and then put the leather jacket back, and then button back up. It would be be priceless.
It would have looked like that Hot Fuzz scene every time something was going on, like where he'd wake up in the morning and he'd make coffee, and the Simon Pegg character would do and there'd be a bunch of smash cuts. So you just have like 20 smash cuts if you're trying to get into your rocket suit.
Yeah.
Or trying to chase after Jenny and you had gotten everything off. You go, wait, I'm coming, and then just trying to haul on your your boots and stuff.
Right.
Oh dear. But a good minute, and we're finally. I mean, we're coming up to the final showdown. This is the beginning of the final showdown. We've got to set the stage with Howard and company, but we'll do that all next week. But generally,
Can you believe this is episode 80? That's just
episode 80.
mind-blowing.
I cannot believe that you guys have put up with each other for 80 episodes.
You're still coming back. That's the.
I was going to say, can't believe you put up with us for almost every week.
I'm at the end of my rope. I can tell you that.
Well, we knew that based on some communication from your attorney, but he did tell you. Just keep on going on, act like nothing's wrong, and until the papers are formally served.
Oh boy. But we're getting down there, and there's still about another 20 minutes to go in this movie. No, not even that. Gosh, it's last half hour.
About 29 minutes.
Last half hour, yeah.
So,
but still things to come. But we'll leave those for future weeks as we wind in. And Billy, you'll be joining us for the exciting conclusion of this serial-like atmosphere.
Sure will.
Awesome! Wow.
I sure will, as long as we can agree that you won't play the fanfare anymore.
Well, I don't know. Tom will get upset if we don't, so we have to keep playing his music.
Yeah, who do we please? Billy, Tom, Billy. I don't know.
Well, we'll see. It's we might have to come up with more fanfare if we can get more people. Well, we do have more people coming. We have people signing up that we're going to have them on for like half episodes. There's so many people that are going to be showing up in the next half hour.
Yeah, we did decide early on. We've got so much content. We're going to actually reboot, start over, and do the Rocketeer 30 seconds. Do the Rocketeer half a minute.
Yes. Now, and this time we'll get it right.
We'll do 218 episodes. So,
piece of cake.
We've only got you down for 200 of them, Billy, so it's fine. You'll get some time off.
We'll do this in your sleep like you're doing now. It's okay.
Perfect.
But anyway, let's let you get your jet lag behind you, and we'll take the weekend off here. For folks who would like to continue the conversation without us, because we're going to all go take a nap now. But you can find us always on the typical social medias. We're out there on the Twitter. We're out there on the Twitter at Rocketeer Minute. You can find Billy at W.O. Campbell if you're on Twitter. He's always ready to possibly read your mail. He likes a good message.
Ready to ignore my social media.
Yes. When did they write this? Back in August. Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't believe that's not far off the mark.
Wow.
It's a bit of an understatement.
It's always a pleasant surprise. So, but yes, you can write to Billy, but write to us. We'll make sure that he's heard about whatever you're saying. So don't worry. But find us at Rocketeer Minute on Twitter. Find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Rocketeer Minute. You can find us on the great big site RocketeerMinute.com, where you can pick up all the previous episodes. You can order any of Billy's movies are out there too at Amazon. They're ready to send you Brooklyn Boys and Bram Stoker's Dracula and Rocketeer and all the other ones, so you can catch up on Cinema Campbell. And that's out there. Let's see, what else is out there? Oh, and of course, iTunes and Google Play. Just go there, type in Rocketeer Minute on either iTunes or Google Play apps, and when we come up, hit subscribe, and you'll get the last 30 episodes delivered hot and fresh Monday through Friday, every day right to your little device that you're listening to on us right now. So when we come back here next week, you can hear more information as we get down to, I don't want to spoil it, so just come back next week and you'll hear some more stuff. So until next week, have a great weekend, and over and out.
All right, boys. And just remember, there are two kinds of people in this world: those who finish what they start, and so forth.